In high-stakes moments, there is a natural, nervous instinct to over-explain. We pile on justifications and details, hoping that by sheer volume of information, we can ensure our message is understood. But the result is often the opposite. These extra words become linguistic clutter, burying the core message and making agreement much harder to find. Building influence requires a shift in strategy toward linguistic scarcity. This is the art of brevity. It begins with real-time verbal editing, the ability to refine your thoughts as you speak them. This involves identifying and removing filler words, qualifiers, and hedges, ensuring your points are presented with clarity and precision. However, brevity alone is only the starting point. For a concise request to be effective, it must sit within a structural framework that encourages the other person to take ownership. When you speak concisely, your words carry more weight. The challenge is delivering a brief request in a way that feels collaborative rather than demanding. The structural solution is the rejection-then-retreat sequence, a negotiation technique often called door in the face. The process begins with an anchor request. You articulate an initial, larger ask likely to be refused. Once declined, you move to the next phase. This is the retreat. You smoothly drop back to your realistic target request. Framing a request this way changes the dynamic of the conversation. It taps into social rules of compliance that guide how people respond to a perceived compromise. Curious, why does this specific retreat make a yes so much more likely? It leverages a biological mechanism known as the rule of reciprocal concessions. Because human social structures rely on compromise, when you move away from your initial extreme ask, your counterpart perceives that move as a personal favor or a gesture of goodwill. This gesture creates a social pressure for them to reciprocate. By agreeing to your second, smaller request, they fulfill their part of the unspoken social contract of compromise. This effect is further strengthened by the principle of perceptual contrast. When the target request is placed directly next to the larger anchor, the difference in scale makes the final ask appear highly reasonable and much easier to accept. By combining this contrast with the social expectation of compromise, you create a path toward an agreement that feels natural to both parties. It might seem like this approach would lead to resentment, making the other person feel as though they've been backed into a corner. Behavioral research suggests the opposite. This sequence often results in a higher level of satisfaction with the final deal. Because the counterpart was the one who rejected the first offer, they feel they have dictated the final terms. They view the retreat as a result of their own negotiating power. When people feel responsible for the terms of an agreement, they are more likely to be satisfied with the outcome and more committed to following through on the contract. A commanding presence comes from speaking with purpose and guiding the other party to find the solution on their own terms. In video 13, we move into the mind pillar. I will show you how to master the looping technique and the art of hearing the unspoken to establish a foundation of trust. See you there.